Preview stream. I don't see preview. Start. Alrighty guys, now I think we're live. Let's see if this is working. Trying a different way of streaming than we normally do. Hopefully it's working here. It says we're live, but yet we're not yet. Let's see. Oh, yep, we're good. Awesome. Alright, so sorry that we're late. I was at a doctor's appointment for the baby until 7:30, and this was supposed to start at 8, so we're 45 minutes late. And also Kevin was running late, so we're both running late, but we're both here now.
Yeah, and, Jersey traffic.
I hope that it was worth the wait. I'm imagining it will be, because Kevin's going to bestow upon you some knowledge in today's lesson. I feel like you need like a robe with like a black belt and like tied around your head. So for those of you that are tuning in now, what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be live streaming on Facebook as well. And Facebook actually has a front row seat to the tank scape, so you'll be able to see it closer. If you want to watch on YouTube, you'll be able to see us doing the scape. Well, see Kevin doing the scape. I'll be pretty much moderating the chat over here and relaying questions and all that to you guys. We'll also be live streaming on Instagram here momentarily, but I wanted to get this up and running because I know a lot of you guys have been waiting. Real quick before we get into everything, there's 5 days left of the plant mist sale. If you're not familiar with it, 25% off the website. Enter the code PLANTMIST at checkout. Also, there's daily sales on different plants for anywhere between $1 to $3. $50 order minimum for free shipping, and that's really about it. Kevin's going to start here. He's got some Cerio Stone. I'm going to set up the live stream right now on Facebook and Instagram and get those going. So let's just do that. And we'll do one of these, and we'll do one of those, and start live. And then we'll do one of these live. Alright.
Okay, what kind of scape should I do? Just one of my normal hardscape heavy ones, or something a little different?
Something that I guess would be easily replicatable, I guess, if that's a word,
okay,
by those watching. If you're just tuning in on Instagram and Facebook, we are live streaming also on YouTube, but Kevin is going to do a scape here. He's going to go through some lessons and all that, so feel free to chime in questions. I'll try to help answer them as well as he is while he's scaping. But if you want to watch us on camera, you can check it out on YouTube. And if you want to look at the scape more heads-on, head on over to facebook.com/H2O Plants to check out the full stream there. And, alright. So, what's going on, Theory? If I'm in your live, can I get a $10 coupon? No. Alright. So, who said Aqua? Said Aquascape got a 55. Any ideas?
Aquascaping at 55?
Yeah.
55, as far as I'm concerned, is probably one of the worst designed aquariums. Bad gas exchange, hard to have good flow. Narrow but tall, so there's lighting problems.
Yeah. Hey, quit horsing around.
But if you have a 55 and that's what you're set on, I would suggest the simpler the better. A couple large pieces of stone, maybe a nice little branch, put some plants on, but not much you can do. It's really difficult. I know you're shooting down your dream of doing those 75 down, which is the same build.
Oh, it's tricky. I mean, if you've watched my videos on the 55-gallon series so far, you saw me re-aquascape it. Hey! You saw me re-aquascape it. You saw it most recently. It's actually due for a change, which we're going to... Oh, well, I'm going to probably be doing here soon unless Kevin wants to help me with it. And,
I'll take your firstborn.
Okay. So, yeah, 55s are tough.
Yeah, they're really tough. Not fun to maintain, especially if you're somebody my size. You get a lot of stuff in there, and there's not much room for me to move around.
I'm going to have to read the questions off Facebook on the computer because they're scrolling too fast. So
You're popular.
You're popular. There you go. Hey, look, it's at the top of my feed.
So I guess we'll do like a beginner / immediate level Aquascape, something that works really well. One of the most important things about Aquascapes. Oh wait.
Sorry, no, we're good. Go ahead.
One of the most important things about Aquascape is to remember that you need to maintain a good flow, at not so much output but intake. So you want all the detritus to get sucked up into the filter. You want to keep it clean. You don't want to have to go in there with a toothbrush to get all that stuff out. I use a turkey baster. It's my favorite tool.
Yeah, we actually have 2 of them and then pipettes all around the place.
Keeping moss clean is a real problem. But you want something natural looking. One of my favorite kinds of scapes is ice shear. You see that a lot in nature. You have a piece of rock and it's split into splinters because water gets in there, it freezes, it splinters the rocks. I think it's one of the most beautiful ways that rocks break.
Yeah.
In nature. So
well, it looks really nice because that's what we did actually in Lucky's tank behind us.
Yeah.
And it looks really good.
So.
Evan Thomas comments and says, river style flow design helps on a 55 a little.
Yeah, you can do that.
What I like to think of it is, at least from my perspective with the 55, is when you aquascape a 55 gallon, you want to kind of take an aquascape that you would traditionally have and slice it, and then use a slice out of that scape, and then run it long ways, so almost turn it sideways. At least that's what looks nice to me, but I don't know how technically correct that may be in the aquascaping realm, but for beginners, that's what I would think about. So think of it, rather than front to back, think of it side to side, left to right. Yeah. So
for this scape, I'm going to pretend that the input and output are going to be in this corner. So I'm going to start.
So this would be the back side, or is this the back side?
Well, no, this is the back.
Okay, so.
And you'll have the input and output here.
Okay.
I'm just, canister filter. If you're not using a canister filter or a sump for a planted tank, then you're already going to get in trouble. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the stones that we have and think if this was a big stone, what would it look like? And this is going to be kind of an island scape. We're going to keep a nice clear area in the background so you get a full circle all the way around the tank. Water comes out, goes around, gets in the input. And we're going to think about 2 things too while we're doing this. We're going to think a little bit of depth. Right now what I've been doing the most and I've been enjoying is not so much creating the illusion of deep depth, but as if this is a little chunk of nature that we picked out of a river or pond and we dropped it in an aquarium. It's just where I am right now and I'm happy with it. And what we're using is the leftover stone from Aquatic Experience.
Yeah, so all this stone was actually glued together, which I actually even haven't shown that tank off yet. I've been saving it for like the last one.
No, I'm not happy with it.
It was good. It was good. I think it definitely wasn't as good as some of the other things I've seen you do.
Yeah.
But it wasn't terrible. Okay. So, so this was leftover stone, or stone that was glued together, now is taken apart, and we're going to be using it to scape. And Austin actually had a question of what is the purpose of this aquarium, and this is just for demonstration purposes only. Really, this is just, we want to show different styles of aquascaping. We can also use this as mock scapes. If you didn't know, Kevin is working with us to design custom scapes for tanks, so if you guys have a tank and you want a professionally done aquascape, he can design a scape with the hardscape material that we have here, and we ship it out to you. Keep in mind, Kevin does cost some money, so it's not cheap, but if you want something that is pretty much a work of art. Really, Walter? Really? Really? Freaking ripped out my charger here. Stay away from that. Anyway. Damn dogs. Okay. Don't cross. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Thank you. Alright, let's see some questions on YouTube here. Wish I was you guys just whenever I want. Hey, want to escape a tank on Wednesday? Sure thing. Well, I'm over here with one fish tank. What makes him a professional? And what contest has he won? Well, I mean, my definition of a professional in any aspect is somebody that literally gets paid to do the craft. So if you're an artist and you paint a painting and you sell it, you are essentially somewhat of a professional artist in a way. That is your profession. You are an artist who is selling their work. So Kevin does these scapes for businesses and people in their house. He goes there, he scapes them in the local area. He also competes in competitions that are meant for the professionals. He's also gone overseas to study with Oliver Knott, which if you're not familiar with Oliver Knott, he's pretty much one of the top aquascapers in the world.
Yeah, definitely one of the best paid.
The best paid, top well-known, studied under the person who is, I guess...
Amano Takashi?
Yeah, I don't know. He's attributed to the aquascaping hobby, maybe, or
well, he
the
founded
pioneers,
ADA, and ADA tanks are still one of the best.
So, and Kevin's been doing this for how long
now? Professionally, not too long actually.
But
almost
overall,
2 years. Since about 2004.
All right, so he has over 10 years of experience in the hobby. He knows way more about plants and tanks than I do. And
did you have fish? Not so much.
Yeah. But so that's his qualifications. And what contest he won? Well, there's this rule that Kevin can't win a contest.
It's kind of on purpose.
Yeah.
Normally I don't do tanks that win. I like to do stuff a little bit differently. I like Reefapalooza.
Right.
You know, where most of the hardscape was out of the tank and not in the tank. A lot of people didn't like that.
Well, I like it. That's why I was like, I need that tank. Summer Nick says, are you ever going to sell anything besides plants and hardscapes? Hey! Well, we do sell plant fertilizer and all that. I will be getting into more products mainly for shrimp tanks or beta tanks like Indian almond leaves, some cholla wood, some other things like that, some leaf litter, and also some foods we'll be selling soon. Just one thing at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day.
And Christian's always for sale.
Yeah, Christian. We could sell Christian too.
Yeah.
Nicholas says, how much substrate do you like to use for that tank size? Do you ever have problems with the substrate losing its grading over time?
Depends on the substrate. Something like ADA, it can last, depending on what you have growing in it and how you treat it, it can last for a couple of years. But things like contrasoil or fluvial stratum, they have almost no nutrients in them. So I don't like stratum specifically because I find that it breaks down really fast. I like a lot of flow in my tank. I like a lot of plants, and the roots just destroy stratum. I don't know if that answers the question, but breakdown all depends on what you have in the tank and what you're doing to it.
His other part, maybe I toned this part out, but did you? How much substrate do you like to use for a tank that size?
Depends on the layout that I'm doing. Different substrate for different things. If I was going to do a steep bank, I like to take bags, fill them up with lava soil, or use ADA power sand, build up a bank, and then normally for plants, you only need like an inch and a half if you have a built-up bank. So it's a hard question to ask. Really all depends on the scape. Some stuff requires deep, sometimes it doesn't. So anywhere from 3 to 9 liters for something like this.
Julian Van D. Bogart. Kevin, will you make me a Scape?
No, he's better than me.
Oh, you know who that is?
That's Julian. That's
Do I know who he is? Oh, okay. Kevin, suggestions on how to get your epoxy leftovers off the glass. Have some stubborn remains. This is from Evan. Kevin is also known and respected by internationally known aquarium experts.
Who's saying that?
Evan Stepoani?
I think that's what he's saying. Evan, I'm sorry.
And Jenny says I look so short next to Kevin. Yeah, Kevin is a giant. Christian says he's not for sale.
He's always for sale. I've never looked at myself skate on camera before. Everything looks so small in my hands.
What are you thinking when cutting up the rock?
Which rock?
I don't know. That's somebody just said. What are you thinking when cutting up the rock? So I guess maybe when.
Like what's going through my head?
Yeah.
I normally concentrate on ex-girlfriends.
Facebook seems to be more entertained by the dogs than the Aquascape.
So this is how easy a quick rockscape can be. I've done something like this similar. What I did was I put Monte Carlo. It was just Monte Carlo, nothing else.
On the rocks or in the substrate?
In the substrate.
So just fill it in, no background plants? No?
Yeah. Sometimes it's really nice, especially, you have the light in the back section.
Right.
So believe it or not, you actually can create the illusion of depth if things are brighter in the back. Because it lightens the color of the plants, and you have a little bit of a trick of aerial perspective.
Right. Well, very good. Let's see what other questions people are...
So what makes this skate pretty good is I try to focus on more detailed rocks in the front, and then in the back the rocks are a little less detailed. So this one, you lean forward a little bit, so the details kind of get washed out unless you get a little closer. So having more detail in front, having things lean forward a little bit will darker in the front, lighter in the back creates a quick illusion of depth.
Somebody says, any tips on Dragonstone?
First tip I'd give is clean it. Clean it as best you can. Soak it for a day, take a hose, blast all the clay out. It'll most likely break into smaller pieces. You don't want that clay getting in your tank. It clogs up your filter, keeps your water perpetually murky if you don't clean it very well. Don't be afraid to break it. Don't be afraid to break it at all. Break it and put it back together. And also the epoxy in the glass. Try a razor blade. I don't know how you've been working it.
What substrate would you recommend for a larger planted tank where price can be a factor?
Right now I've been using a lot of Tropica aqua soil. It's between $40 and $50. Some companies will ship for free if you buy enough.
Which we might be selling later soon.
Oh yeah?
We've been talking to Tropica, so.
Good.
Yeah. What else? Any other substrates?
ADA if you can get it. I find that...
Well, for a larger tank.
For a larger tank, I mean, it's ADA should be between $40 and $45 a bag.
But when it's not, because it's whatever, $50,
right.
$6.
And I suggest that if you're in a shop and you see it for more than that, you should email ADA.
Yeah, because it's... Hey! Stop it! Damn dogs. Really? Only when I'm trying to live stream, and then after this, you're going to be laying down all peaceful.
Probably do like 4 or 5 of these. It's such a small tank.
Yeah? You want to do one with wood?
Yeah, I can do one with wood.
I got some spider wood.
Yeah, there's some spider wood. And just, so those who are watching, like you really can get, you see my hand, it comes in, get a nice little flow, you got these spaces. For a simple 5-minute skate, it's not great, but not bad. You can do it. It's good flow. It's fun to do. You can actually kind of switch this.
Okay. Got a bunch of wood now. Where's the man bun? I cut it off. I'm actually going to go get my hair cut shorter very shortly.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit shorter.
A haircut like me?
No, not quite like you.
I need a haircut. My hair's long.
How can I bring nitrates down in my tank? Because mine are at 200 parts per million. Jesus.
Water changes.
Water changes unless out of tap it has nitrates, and then lots of plants.
Aged water will also help.
Yeah, aged water or RO water. Preferred lights for smaller tanks like this. with a wide footprint. Any experience with Samurai or 1,000-layer stone?
Samurai stone is okay. I mean, every hardscape has a purpose for what you want to do. I can't express enough planning. You need to plan. You need to figure out what you want to do. Find the right hardscape for what you want to do. Probably one of the biggest mistakes I ever did was accumulate a lot of Dragonstone, and for a year and a half, all I used was Dragonstone. Now I never want to use it again. I had so much. I worked my way through it. Eventually just broke it up into little tiny pieces, and then you have the remainder of it upstairs.
Yeah.
But plan your scape. And once you have an idea what you want, then you start collecting plants, you pick the correct light, and then from there, hardscape. Figure out what kind of hardscape you want to use.
So here's an interesting comment. I always have a problem making depth. Big rocks in the back and smaller rocks in front. That's all I know.
Okay. Well, this scape's a really good example. It was quick. Not looking from the front, so I'm just looking down and trying to scape. So depth is, there's two kinds of depth. There's aerial perspective, and then there's visual perspective. First, you want to focus on the visual perspective, and when you have rocks, rule number one is a lot of detail, darker rocks in the front, lighter, less detail in the back. The reason why you use lighter stones is because, as in real life, outside the world, the further something is, you lose detail, you lose color. It's the first easiest trick for using perspective. I have a video about how to create depth on the Brooklyn Hardscape YouTube channel, if you don't mind me.
Plug.
Well, there's only like 4 videos. It's not like I'm plugging.
Yeah.
But I did an animation about how to create depth. There's a second part coming eventually when I have time. Do a real quick scape for depth, just straight up perspective.
And the other thing that I saw, at least at the aquatic experience, was, while your comment says, big stones in the back, small stones up front, it actually seemed to be the opposite for 90% of the tanks. It was big stuff up front,
right?
Smaller stuff
yep.
in the back, and that creates that depth that he was talking about, that you have that color loss with things that are farther away from you, and things that would be closest to you would be the biggest, and things that would be farther away from you would look smaller. And that's how you would basically create a depth from stuff that should be right in front of you. If you were thinking of it as a scenery that was right in front of you in nature, all the biggest stuff would be up close to you, and everything else farther away would be very small or indistinguishable. Oh my god, I can't speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's
indistinguishable. Indistinguishable.
Is Julian still watching? I swear I can feel him judging.
He might be. Where do you get your Dragonstone? Well, we sell Dragonstone. Right now we only have Scape packages, but we do have some leftovers that you can, if you need some, just message me how much you're looking for. I can send you either random stones. Kevin will actually design aquascapes, like I mentioned before, for you, if you want him to hand pick some stone.
So what I'm going to do is a quick valleyscape to show how to do quick depth.
Do you need your things?
Nah, it's okay.
No, you're good. Let's see. Are you using Osmocote in the high nitrate tank? That could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm. It's really hard to answer those questions because you need so many parameters, and there's always something that somebody doesn't know, and you really have to try to figure out what's wrong with your tank. You really need to just create an elimination, do a whole process.
Concave aquascape next, Julian says.
Concave?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have time for that, Julian. I hate you. Julian's really, really good. He's a really good scaper, yeah.
Was he at AE?
No, he's in the Netherlands.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Julian, I'm not familiar with you. But you suck for not being an aquatic experience. How about that? Let's see. Any advice for getting Pico tanks established? What's a Pico tank?
5 gallons.
Oh, okay. No filter, no added FERT, CO2, O2, all self-sustaining with a 2mm gravel substrate over organic potting soil. Any tip for getting it established?
Established. Well, when you have a no filter tank, you need a good established substrate bed to get that bacteria really going. I mean, you got to do water changes. I would suggest maybe taking a little substrate from an established tank and adding it, get that bacterial colony going. I would even still put in a skimmer of some kind, so you have gas exchange, so things don't go anaerobic or go bad. There's all kinds of things that can go bad in a still water tank, especially with no water changes.
Yeah, I feel like you have to have some sort of either water circulation or changing the water every couple days on it, just to prevent that stagnant water to happen. Stagnus is not stagnant. Yeah, whatever. Don't criticize me. Let's see. I don't know if the chat just isn't updating on Facebook or if nobody's chatting. I don't know. Yeah. We're just gonna mute this going forward. There we go. All right. Let's see. The Fishy Life says yes. This is why I'm watching. Thanks. Why was this? Okay.
I mean, yeah, just give me what kind of scapes you want to do, and I'll whip out some quick examples. I am definitely open for any kinds of suggestions.
What kind of rock is that? Adam says.
Cereal stone?
Yeah. So this is cereal stone.
It is really hard to escape just by looking down.
I mean, I'm looking at the camera there. It looks pretty
That's what
good.
I keep looking at.
Use that as reference.
Yeah.
Let's see some questions on Instagram here. I got a 125-gallon fish aquarium. What kind of plants I can get for it? Any ideas? Well, it depends on your light and pretty much what kind of fish you have in there. Because certain type of fish can go with some plants, like if you have goldfish or cichlids. But I mean, pretty much anything that's low light. We have a whole section on the website that's low light based. But if you're looking for in particulars, Anubis, Java Fern, swords, valves, those are all good places to start. Are those natural rocks? They are. Any thoughts on soil, clay, laterite, or peat as a substrate base?
Aquasoil. I always go aquasoil. I just don't screw around anymore. I don't have time for the heartbreak or the frustration. So much can go wrong. It's just...
That's not to say you can't have success with it, but Kevin doesn't want to toy around with things that don't work. Or don't work well.
Yeah.
And
all of my tanks right now, except for my 12-gallon long, have a lifespan of about 6 months before I get bored. And I want things to grow. I want them to look pretty. Learn something new, hopefully, and then that's it. Break it down, start something new. New idea, new chance.
So Adam wants to know, do we have this rock on our website? So we don't have, obviously, this exact scape, but Cereal Stone and Dragonstone I haven't uploaded, just the pre-made scapes, because we just don't have a lot of it to really just have out there for bulk buy. But if you're looking for some stones, you can message me and I'll get you some.
Where's that white?
What?
The white board that we were using the other day.
I think it's somewhere over there. Let me grab it. Is it? Yeah, here we go. You know what? Gotta get window film and put it right on it. Do you normally put this much sand substrate in? It seems like it would be a pain to vacuum and keep it from getting those deadly gas pockets.
What do you say?
So they're saying, do you normally use this much stone, this much sand substrate? It seems like it would be a pain to vacuum and keep it from getting those deadly gas pockets that most people.
Sometimes I use more. I mean, difference. I mean, everything is different. You can't give a blanket statement. But let me just get through this and then I'll answer that. So this is a quick, easy perspective. You know, a little depth. You got a little valley.
So you have the big stuff up front and smaller stuff in the back.
Yeah. It's not even that hard to do. You know, basically, yeah, big stuff, big detail in the front, and then if you look, you know, the detail lessens in the back. Things come together in a perspective line like you're staring at railroad tracks, and that's it.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, I guess we could sell the stone if they understand that it's got concrete on it and it'll leach stone for about 6 months, raise your pH.
Well, I mean, we could clean a lot of this up though, no?
Yeah, I mean, I cleaned a bunch of it out when I was outside.
Well, so would this still leach then, or no?
Yeah, it'll still leach a little bit. I can clean more off, just a little.
Yeah. Would a power washer take that off?
Nah, you gotta go with a steel brush.
Yeah.
So what scape should I do next?
Oh,
yeah, it does look good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Yeah. Huh.
I'm telling you. It looks great. Alright, let's see some other questions. Christian says, Justin, it's like your vases. My vases have circulation.
Yeah, I mean, even a little aeration, something to break up.
What is this? Erudification? Eutrophication?
Eutrophication.
I don't know what that is.
Ah, you got me too. I hate you, Evan.
Diana says water changes every 2 days, trying to avoid algae growth by avoiding ferts and added bacteria in 1 gallon tank. Also, my first planted tank. Thanks. That was to the
okay, so filtration is important. Fertilization, even a little bit. I don't understand why people keep doing that. It's one of the things I want to talk about last week. I had a client that I had to save his tank, and somewhere on the internet he was told, like, even though he has a highlight tank, and no ferts, no CO2. He like literally got told this. Plants need to eat, and if you have a pico tank, yes, it'll take a long time for the plants to eat everything that's in there, but eventually it'll catch up. And if you have shrimp and stuff in there, they're not producing enough ways to feed the plants.
Yeah. Plants definitely do need fertilizer, so I've been running somewhat of an experiment, also somewhat of being lazy, and we weren't dosing any of the tanks for about the last 3 weeks. The 2 high-tech tanks that I have set up that are growing a lot of the rare stuff that we have took a significant loss due to lack of fertilization, because everything else stayed the same. Light cycle stayed the same, CO2 stayed the same, but I stopped dosing ferts, and you could notice an instant slowdown and also dying off of a lot of existing leaves and just stems in general. So now they're starting to rebound, because as soon as I started dosing, 2 days later, I see new growth. It definitely grew like twice as much as it did in like the last 3 weeks. So
I mean, Pantanal, you have Pantanal in those tanks. That's a good indicator.
Yeah, well, even the AR was struggling, wasn't growing. I dosed fertilizer. 2 days later, it was twice as tall.
Yeah,
just shot up.
I mean, some plants aren't good indicators, like Luvegia or Lixa. Lixa will just keep on going for a long time, you know. But some of the other plants, they just don't store nutrients very well, so they die off pretty quick.
Yeah, and aquarium plants, especially in these high-tech environments, grow a lot faster than people think, and they're burning through the nutrients that's available to them. So, just goes to show how much fertilizer is key. How can I get cubic grass to grow in my 135? I have highlight, good flow, and fluval stratum.
Oh, fluval stratum.
What's cubic grass? Or that's dwarf baby tears. Cuba, maybe.
HC.
Yeah, I think it's HC.
You sure?
How can I get cubic grass?
Cubic grass. I mean, grass would be it's an Alocaris, which is a different.
But that wouldn't be cubic grass.
No.
I don't think that has any classification on Cuba. If you're talking about dwarf baby tears, the really, really tiny stuff, on a 135, you're probably going to need
really
CO2.
High light, CO2.
You're going to need really high light and CO2. So, when do shrimp start to breed? I just got some kind of red cherry shrimp. I've seen them start to breed as long as they have the right parameters, probably within the first like 3 or 4 weeks.
I am not a shrimp expert.
Maybe even sooner.
Really try not to answer questions I don't have the answers to.
So the Fishy Life was the one that was commenting about big stuff in the back, small stuff up front. Says you're trying to funnel the perception.
Yes, it's a good way to put it. Funnel the perception. Absolutely. Okay, quick perspective. So we're standing at railroad tracks, and you see that the railroad tracks come together in the distance. It's the same principle. Really quick, like you have a vanishing point. All lines have to go to that vanishing point. And that vanishing point is where you draw everything together to show depth. And I can show I'll post on Ice Show Plants right now a really good example of an 8-inch deep tank that I did. That looks like it's significantly deeper, just hardscape me screwing around. H2 Arnie.
What?
Should I post it on H2 Arnie?
Can you post it on my page on H2O Plants or no?
Yeah, I can do it.
Because it doesn't allow you to. It should be able to. So Brad E says that's a crap ton of rock for a little tank. So this was actually something that I wanted to bring up. There's a difference between a planted tank and an aquascape.
Yes.
So in like my 55, that's not really an aquascape. That's more of a planted tank. It's just some stuff thrown in to make it look natural, plants added, but it's not to me an aquascape is a miniature landscape. That's what it essentially is. Like when you really get down to it, the professional aquascapes look like miniature landscapes pretty much. When you have when you just have a planted tank, it's some rock, some stone, some wood, and some plants tossed in there, but there isn't really a cohesive scene basically going on. It's all just kind of thrown in there. It may have some sort of rhyme or reason to it, but it's not exactly like what a professional. It doesn't let you
on your page, right? Oh, I can only message you.
write something. Okay, cool.
Oh, I'm tired.
I love that scape, Cecilia says. Jenny says, I like that scape. Fishy Life says, I see the depth. Do gas pockets form underneath the stones?
Not if you know something. I mean, again, it depends on depth and what you're using. Let me just post this picture real quick to show a quick, good example of illusion of depth from an 8-inch tank.
Ruru says, will it leach out minerals faster if you soak it in RODI water?
No, it's the same. Concrete is a pretty consistent leacher until it's all gone. This has been curing those since November, so we'll probably leach for
that October.
Oh, yes, October, yeah.
Middle of October.
So it'll leach for a couple of months, and then it should be fine.
Is this still a piece?
That's actually a piece of quartz that's in there.
Huh? Interesting. All right, people are asking for a woodscape.
A woodscape.
Yeah.
This is a family-friendly show.
Nope, they want to see you. They want to see you play with wood.
Okay.
Victor says Tonia is my indicator. Alright, so eutrophication, the enrichment of a water body with nutrients.
Oh, I did know that.
Excess amount of nutrients causes bad algae, and cyanobloom depletes oxygen, is bad stuff.
I did know what that meant. I'm just really tired.
Okay.
Thanks, Evan, for making me look dumb.
Julian says Indo next. Kidding, but I love this one, Kev. So you like that skate.
Oh yeah, Julian?
Let's see. I think you need some roots for Indo. What's an Indo? Indonesia? Is that what it stands for? Okay.
I guess so.
Cuba HC, yeah.
That's Cuba HC, yeah. Highlight, a lot of CO2. I avoid at all costs.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Honestly, Monte Carlo to me is a better one. Monte Carlo, though, in my tank is almost as small as the baby tears looks like.
Well, it depends. Again, I swear, if people can correct me, I'm sure I'm wrong, but I swear that there's different strains of HC.
Me and Jake were talking about the one that he sent you, and I'm like, no, it's definitely HC, but there was pearlweed mixed in with it.
Yeah.
There's definitely pearlweed mixed in with it, no doubt about it. It's hard to get HC Cuba to stay rooted in stratum because the substrate is large and light.
No, it's also very nutrient depleted. It's not a nutrient heavy substrate. I really don't like stratum. I think it's a waste of money. I think that it was a nice try, but don't use it.
A lot of people swear by it for shrimp.
Yeah, for shrimp, yeah, because it's not releasing anything that might hurt the shrimp. It's inert after like a month.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and also I've had it brick on me quite a few times.
Ruru says, I have tanks with plants, no scape. Well, you could do a plant-only scape.
Mm-hmm. Dutch and Danish style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which there's been some very beautiful ones on the Facebook groups that I admire, and I'm like, damn, that looks mad good. Why can't mine look like that? Aquabro says, do a cave aquascape.
Okay, we'll do that next.
And then Evan says, Kevin, what about a shelfscape? What's a shelfscape?
I'm not gluing anything, Evan.
No. we're not gluing and waiting for things to cure over here. These are supposed to be things that people can do easily at home.
So, one of the things that I'm doing consistently, though, because I want to make sure that these are all easy scapes to do, is still keeping the back so there's good flow, all-around flow. Again, the filter is still centered in and out here. Comes around, flows, keep the back open. Not leaning anything against the glass at all. This is really important. Also, something that I like to tell people is to remember, if you want to get into this and you really want to get into this hobby, start with a nano tank. I know everybody tells you differently, but start with a nano tank because when things go wrong, they go wrong fast and you can see it happen. The bigger the tank, the longer it takes for you to notice things are going wrong, and then by the time something goes wrong, it's already too late. When your tank crashes or you have giant algae blooms. Nanoscape, it's easy fix, quick, easy. Something bad happens, you see it immediately, and you can fix it immediately.
I also like nano tanks for doing professional style aquascapes simply for the fact that it's smaller, it's less material to have to use, so you don't have to spend a fortune on rocks or wood. You also don't have to spend a fortune on plants. Like literally, you could do a 2-plant aquascape in a tank this size, and it would look gorgeous, as opposed to setting up something like a 40-gallon, let's just say, and investing all this money in rocks and wood and plants. So you can actually save some money by doing a smaller tank, and you don't need super expensive lights because it's not that deep. Things are just a whole lot easier on smaller tanks. How do you get rid of clodophora algae? Best things that I find, remove as much of it by hand using either a toothbrush or your hands, and then also treating with H2O2. Yeah, toothbrush.
Always have it in my kit.
And then just keep on track of it, or keep on top of it every day, kind of thing. It essentially will go away on its own once you work out your water parameters and figure out what's causing it. Kind of hard to escape depth in a 55-gallon, 11 inches depth, that's 48 inches apart. Yeah, that's why I mean, just personally, the way I look at the 55 is instead of looking front to back like you would in most aquascapes, look left to right. So you want to aquascape left to right versus front to back. And it's almost like you're taking a traditional aquascape and turning it sideways. At least that's what I think looks nice on a 55. If you were going to do any aquascape, maybe other than a Dutch, you could also do a Dutch style in a 55.
Yeah, I think a Dutch would look really well with a 55, yeah. I do.
And for those that don't know what a Dutch scape is, it's essentially just all plants. There's no hardscape. It's a bunch of stem plants that are arranged in like color coordination and size difference and to create a really nice depth effect to it. What's a Danish style? You mentioned that.
All red.
Almost all red
plants,
okay.
Yeah. Just talking about it a lot. I did a consultation a while ago. It turned out more of a social evening, but yeah, really, really beautiful stuff. Really, really beautiful stuff.
How to get Marsilia hirsuta to carpet. That stuff is actually really easy. Just plant it and let it go.
Yeah.
All the Marsilias, or the common name dwarf four-leaf clover or four-leaf clover, very easy to grow. in almost any lighting condition and no CO2. I mean, it will grow faster in higher light and CO2, but it won't die in low light, no CO2. So. Evan says, you run circles around me, Kevin. Why I mentioned that.
Oh, I see how it is.
Victor says, do an algae scape.
Let me get my 1,000-watt halide bulb in a little tank like this. That'll do it.
Cladophora algae is the same as those mossballs. It's similar. I don't think it's the exact...
It's the same family.
It's the same family, but it's not the exact same... what is it, species then? Is it...
Just a different subspecies.
It's not exactly the same, because if you roll Cladophora into a ball, it's not going to keep that shape. So...
Yeah, just spread.
It's not the same thing.
Spread like AIDS in the 80s.
Green spot algae, nitrogen deficiency, CO2 deficiency, or too much light. What's your opinion, and how much algae should be getting in? How much algae should you be getting in a high-tech tank? So just from my personal experience, I get a lot of green spot algae on the glass because I run my lights 8 hours. I think if I toned it down to 7 or 6, it would probably eliminate that completely. But I'm going for optimal plant growth as much as I possibly can without getting outbreaks of having your heads on camera. They just got a big old picture of you in the back of your head.
Sorry. Sorry. I'm really good about that.
So, that's my personal experience. And as far as, like, high-tech tanks, I don't know. Kevin, when you first set up a high-tech tank, do you get algae?
Me personally, or for like clients and stuff?
Average.
For me, rarely. But, I'm very much in my tanks.
But like, are you using like matured things when you like? Because you know, obviously, like you'll take down a tank, rescape it.
Oh yeah, I always use.
So you're using already like established stuff, kind of.
Yeah, filter. Like, the filter media is always established.
Right. So if you were to use brand new stuff, do you tend to get an algae outbreak?
Sometimes I'll get a little diatoms. GSA is a consistent problem, but that's only because I use extremely high light.
Right. Yeah. I feel like any sort of spot algae is just dead on with too much light.
Yeah. But even then, minimal. The 60p that I have, I just get green spot algae. I have nothing else. But then again, I don't have any fish in there either. So the CO2 level is just ridiculous.
What's collectorist style? Is that actually a style, or is he making up words?
Victor? Is that Victor?
Yeah.
No, that is Victor's style. He's like, how many plants can I put into a tank?
Well, that's my problem too right now with the 55. Did I tell you I got a...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I know who you got it from.
Yeah. I got some other goodies too.
How's that look? What do you guys think?
I like that. That looks really nice.
You know, this would be a nice low-tech tank, actually. A lot of moss all over the rocks. There's lots of places for the moss to like really root in.
Yeah, you could do like small crypts around the or small swords.
And I would do some micro Buffalandria
on
the tips, and just that's it. Moss and boost, and then that's it. Yeah. Nothing else.
Looks good.
What do you guys think?
Ever heard of the tank going very cloudy after adding Seachem iron?
Yes. I don't have an answer why, but I have heard of it.
George says, I have a Phoenix SE 24/7 on a 55 and I leave it on the 24/7 mode. Starting to get black spots on plants. What do you think? George, I would take it off the 24/7 mode, first of all. I don't like 24/7 modes on any lights. I think the blue light encourages algae growth.
Yeah, blue. I mean, plants utilize.
Yeah, they use
the whole spectrum. That's
but when I first got into planted tanks, I actually have one of the 24/7 fixtures. I switched from a regular fixture to the 24/7 fixture, and then I turned on the 24/7 mode after a while, and I noticed within a week I started having hair algae growing on everything.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And I can only equate it to the 24/7 mode with the blue light, because once I took that away, removed the algae, it was gone. So.
Again, I don't know why more companies don't follow the lead of Aqua Illumination. I mean, I have one of their lights the HD AI light, and I'm gonna have the light is technically on for about 12 hours, but it's such a minimal. Plants don't get any light. It's a little nice to see when I come to bed, and there's a little bit of blue light filtering in, but yeah, I don't see a reason for it either. With ramp time is really nice though. The fish don't get startled. It's really nice. I'm not a big fan of just popping a light on.
Somebody mentioned Honey was eating the wall.
Uh-oh.
Freaking this dog eats like whatever she could get in her mouth. I saw her the other day munching on this, the rubber thing that holds on the thing. She's gonna get very sick one day if she doesn't stop that shit.
Anybody like the Scape now?
Yeah, people are saying that they like it. And the dogs aren't hungry, they're just dogs.
Yeah.
Whatever they can get in their mouth, they eat. I've seen her munching on the lead weights before. I'm like, get that out of your mouth, please. Don't kill yourself. Jeff's Aquatic says the dog must have mineral deficiency. He's eating the drywall.
I could even go simpler.
Well, thank you. Time to buy a timer. Yep, that would solve those problems probably immediately for you.
This is just a personal opinion. This isn't a fact or things that you need to take to heart, but I loved the Phoenix Planet Plus. I mean, it's a great starter light. I actually still have some, but I've been underwhelmed by everything else that came after.
So Christian asked, what sand are we using today?
This is pool filter sand.
Do you have you ever used play sand?
Yeah, I don't like it. I know a lot of people recommend it, but I ended up like tracking it down, and I couldn't figure out why I was getting weird algae problems, and only in certain spots, and so it turned out that play sand it comes from multiple locations, and you don't always know what you're getting.
Right.
So there can be all kinds of things, all kinds of organics were hidden in it. It's just not worth the chance and the heart. I'm all about keeping yourself from heartbreak.
Right.
You know, people put a lot of work when they do this stuff in, and then they'll get something like play sand, and the play sand will have like dissolved animals or whatever, because you don't know. You don't know. There's big piles. They grind them up, and then they put them in a bag, and you don't know what's in there, and no reason to have your heart broken. You know, you got to tear it down after a couple of months because there's something in there you don't know.
Very true. Evan says Wi-Fi smart plugs are an awesome thing. Yeah, for any sort of timer. While they have those analog timers, I guess, that have like the plastic pieces that you put in and adjust it. They also have the timers on the power strips. Just buy a Wi-Fi outlet that you can just plug into your existing outlet. That makes it so much easier because one, you can control it from your phone if you want to. And two, you can set a timer on them, on most of them. The ones I have anyway, you can. So, and they're the same price. They may be like $3 more, but it gives you Wi-Fi capabilities. How do you raise alkalinity? Actually, that's something that we have to talk about too, because the shell dweller tank, that pH dropped to 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then that pH though stayed at 7 point something, 7.4.
For the tank I set up for you?
Yeah, 7.4.
Yeah, everything there should
but
be
it has
stable.
the same amount of base rock, so I'm thinking we may have to put crushed coral in the new tank to keep that above.
Okay.
Because that has base rock, that has virtually the same amount.
Get a couple cuts of argonite.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, yeah, we'll talk about it later.
But. Okay. I guess that's okay. Not great, but this one's another quick.
Yeah.
Sometimes the hardscape doesn't always look great, but if you have a good planning plan, it will. I know that nano that Christian and I competed with.
Right.
I'm not going to show it until it's fully grown in. A lot of people had a lot of comments about it. And I always get frustrated. I'm like, no, you have to wait 6 weeks. And then once 6 weeks are in, you're like, oh.
You still have both of those tanks set up?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm seeing it to the end. Christian may have beat me, but mine's going to look better in the long run.
Evan says non-peak lighting is a cool thing. You've been reading research on it.
Yeah, I just read an interesting paper about aquatic plants in the Amazon about how they actually have, in some places, photosynthesis shut down at midday, where they get so much light that they actually can't produce, like, digest the light anymore. You need to play with it. I want to play with it.
What's a good time for the lights to be on for?
What time are you around your tank?
Well, like how long? What's the photo period that you recommend?
I start at 6 hours, and then after the tank is established and I start getting good growth, I go into 15-minute increments by week.
Oh, Han trying to join.
Oh, Han, you big sexy boy.
What's up, Han? Let's see. Can you please send me free plants?
Did Han say that?
No, somebody else. Sorry. They want to see a cave aquascape.
Yep, that's what I'm doing next.
Alright. How do you feel about SB Reef 16-inch planted basic?
I don't know it. I don't use it. Any comments?
It's probably going to be one of the next lights that I get.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just based on what I've seen on the Facebook groups, the success people are having with them on larger tanks. I think the 2 high-tech tanks that I have going are going to be changed out from the 2 fluvels to 1 SB Reef per tank, the 32-inch, and just the thing just blasts par. Like,
well, unfortunately, my par meter and my spectrograph, which I had been borrowing, I lent to. I wish Josh was watching so I could give him a stern eye, but I lent him to a local kid, and he disappeared. So, unfortunately, a lot of my research for doing these things got halted because my equipment got walked away with.
that sucks.
Yeah. So I try not to comment too much on any new lights because I haven't had a chance to put them under the microscope.
How can you get water sprite to grow faster?
CO2 and fertilizers.
Yeah, definitely fertilizers is a huge nutrient hog. It grows very fast, and if it gets a lack of nitrogen, it's not going to grow as fast as it could. So, Justin, my Ludwigia White is growing about the same as my Ludwigia Armatica and medium speed growth. Nice. Neptune Aquatics in San Jose. Check it out. What's that? I don't know who that is. Where can I buy Java Moss? Our website, actually. We have tons of it.
Java Moss.
We also have Xmas Moss. We have Xmas Moss for days and Java Moss for days.
That isn't a giant.
That giant tub.
You have literally Xmas moss for days.
Yeah.
Like, so much Christmas moss. It's ridiculous.
Like we need somebody with like a 400-gallon tank to go Scape it with freaking Xmas Moss. I literally had somebody buy it because somebody was like, I need bulk Xmas moss. I'm like, okay, well, how much do you want? And they're like, 8. And they're like, oh, I need like a lot. I'm like, okay. They're like, when's your next shipment? I'm like, I have a ton of Xmas moss. And he's like, yeah, but I want bulk prices. I'm like, well, if you order more than 9 portions and you use my 25% off coupon, you get 50% off each portion. So a golf ball size of Xmas moss costs you $5. So
it's a really good deal.
And free shipping if it's over $50. So. Yeah. And we have mini Xmas moss too, which we got these nice fat stones with a bunch of them on there, and we have stainless steel mesh too with mini Xmas as well. Let's see. Kyle X says, "Scape this thing, Kevin. Come on."
Kyle, when am I going to come and scape your tank? He gets it for free. Kyle gets everything for free. He really helped me out.
Yeah, Kyle's a good guy. He was helping me out in the very beginning.
Yeah, I like Kyle.
But then he became too busy for me, and I'm like, you know what? Screw you, Kyle. I'll do my damn self.
Well, he's married now
Yeah,
and stuff, so.
I know. I'm just kidding, Kyle.
Now he's too cool.
But no, it's actually good because I learned how to do minimal coding by myself. Because it forced me to be like, okay, well, I can't get this done. Or I can't find anybody to do it at a reasonable cost, so I'm just going to have to learn it my damn self. So, that's what I did. What fertilizer can you use? Well, we sell formulas. We sell 3 different formulas on our website. We have regular Vital. Honey, come here. Where are you going? Come here. Honey, So we sell Vital, which is regular Vital. It's meant for low to medium light tanks. Then we sell Vital X, which is meant for medium to high light tanks. So, and if you run CO2, I would advise Vital X. Even if you have a low light tank with CO2, Vital X, because your plants are going to be absorbing more nutrients. And then we also have Thrive S, which is a shrimp safe formula for shrimps. Vital and Vital X are both shrimp safe, but if you overdo them too much, they can kill shrimp because they do contain small amounts of copper and KNO3, which is no good for shrimp if you dose in high dosages. But if you follow the directions and work your way up, they should be fine. But Thrive S if you have shrimp. Having trouble with my Boost Mini Catherine. Any tips? What kind of troubles are you having? Vincenzo says, I use Seachem XL, so we need to do a whole video on Seachem XL. I feel like that needs to be our next live stream. The truth about Seachem XL, and then they're going to write me a nasty email.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Let's hold off on that a little bit longer until I get the report that I'm waiting for.
You're going to be like, can you take down that video?
Well, they won't sell to you because they only sell to brick and mortar shops.
Yeah, I think so. I think I tried, and I don't think I ever got a response.
Yeah, you need. They only sell to brick and mortar shops.
Oh, did our live stream go down?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Scadios. Let's see. Is it working? Did I lose internet?
You know, I lost my internet for like hours today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Watch him. Uh-oh. Nope, we're good. I don't know why it was lagging there. Okay. Sorry about that. Is this a Aquascape? It is. Excel is mainly a weak algicide, not a FERT, or really a carbon substitute. This is correct.
Yes. I have a whole thing about it, but I'm not getting into it today. Today I'm scaping.
Yeah.
One fight at a time.
one argument at a time, yeah. No. Take a picture of you, Kevin. That's not what I want to do. No. Stop. There we go. Alright. Stream is back. Looking good. Sorry, guys. H2O stuff is good. Thrive and Thrive X. Easy Green. Tropico is okay. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate it. Justin, I need beard tips. Live stream about your beard. Well, you know.
Is that Christian asking about beards?
No, Kyle. You know, what I do is I take some of my Vital formula and I rub it on my beard and then I comb it through using this handy dandy aquascaping tool right here called a beard comb. It's the best possible thing you could do, and then you comb it through and there you go. Does that really show? Oh yeah, it does. Very nice. You know, it's missing some rubble though. I feel like it needs some rubble.
I'm gonna punch you in your happy no-no, please. How's that, guys? That's okay?
Seems like you need to know about illusion and perception to be an escaper.
Illusion and perception? I guess so. I mean, they're all easy tricks. All of them.
Hey! Do you ever get algae in your beard?
Yes.
Sometimes. When you feed it too much. Looks good, Evan says. Evan says it looks great. Hey! Hey! To grow a good beard, it's just like growing plants. Patience. You let the plants in the aquascape mature, and you let your beard mature. Now all you need to do is like glue a rock right here hanging down.
There's all kinds of stuff by the time to glue stuff.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah.
Add some wood. the whole wall of drywall over there needs to be replaced because one of the dogs smashed into it, so now it's cracked. And, yeah. Rule of thirds, vanishing point, and key points. You can work through the rest.
Rule of thirds is garbage.
Oh, Kevin throwing down the words on Evan.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Looks good from Iowa. Thanks, Jeff's Aquatic. In regards to starting points, painter's tape helps along with bamboo skewers. Oh, it's like he knows your tricks.
Who said that?
Evan.
I'm all about the bamboo skewers.
Yeah.
They're cheap, disposable, and they have so many uses. I think I just like this one. It's simple.
What's up, guys? On Instagram, we're live streaming on YouTube and Facebook as well. If you're not watching us there, you can check us out. The Scape looks good, and the dog's playing. All is good.
There we go.
Very nice. What other style Scapes can you do?
I'm just gonna see what people throw at me.
We got 10 minutes left.
Okay.
We got our hour marker or so. We got about 10 minutes left. If you guys want to see anything else, have any other questions for Kevin, make sure you comment now or forever hold your silence. So let's see, we did a cave, we did one with wood, we did the valley.
I guess we do a new Gumi real quick.
Can you do, what's the two island one?
Do that, yeah. It doesn't look as good without plants.
Oh. They have to envision plants. They have to see the scape within.
Are we going over now, or are we just going to the hour?
Well, we're at about an hour right now, but we'll run about 10 minutes, if that's good with you.
I will do this as long as you need to.
Get back to work. My favorite scape out of all of them.
That one?
Yeah. That's what Jenny said. Okay. What Johnny says, what makes him a pro? Johnny, we went over this earlier. I answered your question in the beginning of the live
People
stream.
pay me to do this.
Yes, people pay him to do this. Except I don't.
Yeah, you know. That's fine.
Kevin is simply donating his time right now.
I know, I gotta start doing t-shirts.
Yeah. We're gonna... we feel. Yeah.
On a double island, huh?
I've never... Michael Alex says, so Chris, what are some causes of plentiful algae? Who's Chris? You mean Kevin? Or Justin? Who's Chris? Is there a Chris here I don't know about? I'm never satisfied with my aquascapes. I wish I could scape like Amano Takashi.
Air.
Oh. You want me to shut it?
No. I just wasn't ready.
Okay. Is it cold? No, it's
warm. Oh, I don't care about cold.
Do you want me to shut it off? I can shut it off.
No. I just caught me off guard. I was like, what is that?
Okay. So as far as never being satisfied with an aquascape, I think that's hands down.
My problem? Yes.
Well, I think that's everybody's problem. I don't even think I mean, has Oliver not ever been like, oh, I'm good with this scape? Like,
not that I know of.
You know, like.
We didn't really talk about satisfaction. He more talked about fiddling. He's got fiddles with it often. He's got to come back.
Well, that would be a lack of satisfaction.
I guess so.
Because if you're fiddling, then that means something is off. You don't quite like it.
Yeah, I fiddle. I'm always. Let me try something different.
Yeah.
Let me ruin it, and then I'll have to redo everything.
Well, an aquascape is an ever-evolving thing, I feel, because, even the 55-gallon, the crypts that I threw in there, the Euphenius, they've gotten way larger than I thought they would, and now to the point where they're just out of the scale of what I was going for. So I actually have to remove those, and I'm going to do something different in that open area on the left-hand side of the tank. So I think it's one of those, it's ever-evolving, and I don't think it's ever truly done. Michael says, Justin, excuse me. I watch a hell of an amount of YouTube videos and suddenly got the wrong name in mind. That's okay, Michael. I figured you were talking to me. I just wasn't sure if there was a Chris in the chat that you were asking questions to that was answering. But as far as Claudophora, what I think was my issue that I was having so much of it is lack of flow and too much CO2 or too little CO2. So I fixed both those things. I treated what was there. I removed what I could, and eventually it disappeared. So. Shireen says, "Hi Justin, just made my first purchase from your lovely plants today. Excited." Thank you, Shireen. I appreciate it. Julian says, "Treescape."
Treescape. Well, like Double Island Treescape.
Evan says, "By the way, happy holidays, you two." Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. Nobody calls me on Christmas. I'm gonna lock my doors and play video games all day.
You should be aquascaping.
I might actually. My 60p, it's perfect. Everything's growing in perfect, no algae. I did a live stream of it a while ago. The only thing I'm having a hard time with is my carpet isn't coming in like I wanted to because I changed my mind at the last minute. But it's boring. I'm bored. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. So I think I'm going to tear it down and do it. My personal scapes, if I'm not learning something, then I don't like it. I like to make mistakes. I like to destroy it.
See, in my mind, I would have thought that wood was too big for this, but you're making it work, and I like it.
The wood is never too big.
The way you handle the wood. Joe Neely says, "What I miss? Everything, Joe. You better go rewatch this from the beginning on YouTube. You're missing a lot of things." Water Crayfish says, "Facebook camera is better than YouTube." Well, that's because the Facebook camera is like literally front and center, so you can see. But on YouTube, I wanted you to be able to see us both, and Instagram is actually pointed sideways. Coco waves hi. Hi, Coco.
Hello, Coco.
Coco got her stones today, by the way.
Oh yeah.
She said she's going to do her best to recreate what you envisioned.
She can email me and I can help her.
Yeah, she's not sure she can do it.
I'm sure she'll be fine. It's not that complicated, this Scape, which is pretty good. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do. There we go, quick little island scape, which seems to look much, much better from above than it does on the camera.
Johnny wants to know what happened to Christian. Christian is in Brooklyn somewhere.
Yeah, Christian has a day job, so he's not able to come out. If we do this on the weekends, it'd probably be a lot easier for him, but then nobody would pay attention.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, unless we just start doing it on the weekends, but Margaret will be very angry. She's already angry that I do it on Wednesdays.
That's why we need a studio.
Yep. This scape is looking great. Spiderwood can change the whole dynamic.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm a big glue guy. I like to glue stuff down, break things, and rearrange stuff, but this is not my wood. So you have to sell it so that you get mad if I start breaking branches off.
Yes. Okay.
I would not be able to do this, but when I was on a Scape tour, I got to stay at Aquaflora, and I got to shadow Felipe Oliveira for a little bit. And I think he got sick of me, and he stuck me in a corner in the warehouse, and I just scaped until it got dark. Doing 15-minute scapes, the reason I think is because we had an aquascaping contest where it was American and European were paired together.
Right.
And I always have to plan everything out. I draw everything out. Eurus was my partner, and I froze. And he basically did the whole scape. And it was really embarrassing. So I've been practicing 15-minute scapes all the time since.
Kevin, you should publish a book on aquascaping.
I'm working on it.
We should actually co-do that.
Oh, yeah?
No. Here's the reason. You could do it from a professional thing, and then I could butt in and be like, well, Kevin says you should only use ADA aqua soil, but you can use Eco Complete.
No, I say only use aqua soil. And there's lots of really good brands.
No,
really
I know. No, I'm not ready. Glue the rocks out of the tank. Not on this one. This is simply for demonstration purposes. What's the best scaping wood? Manzanita or spiderwood? Or, I guess anything. What do you like the best?
Again, it's Scape specific. Everything from hazelwood. I use grapevine. For me personally, it's just whatever I can get my hands on. I destroy like something like this. I look at it, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cut it right there, and then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna drill a hole and then screw it in there and make better roots. And so whenever I get spider wood, I just break it up in little tiny pieces and put it back together. Or manzanita, you name it.
Yeah, makes sense. Good alternative tree foliage to moss and goose.
Tree foliage to moss and goose. Lots of options.
Anubis nana petite, somebody says, or who says, Anubis nana petite.
I had Lovigia species mini red growing on tree branches.
Some rotella is good.
You do rotellas if you do it right.
Rotella hurrah hangs over typically versus going straight up in most cases, so hurrah would be a good one.
So a lot of, if you have there's a bunch of stem plants that have really good stems, strong stems, you can, I use maybe a little bit of hydrolon, which is the terrarium wicking fabric, but they'll root into the hydrolon, so if you glue it onto the wood, put the stem plants on it, and then boom. It's 100% water filter, water column feeder anyway. So it shouldn't be a problem because they trim the roots off when they start getting leggy.
Let's see, Kevin or Justin, and I have some manzanita I'm not using. Want it?
Who's that?
Kyle.
Sure.
We always want wood.
Why don't you save it and I'll come out and I'll do a tank for you.
I mean, we'll both go out there and do a tank for you. And by do a tank for you, I mean Kevin will do it, I'll film it.
Kyle did the website for our aquarium club.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I know. He was always asking me to help him out test it. I was like, sure.
Big favor. And I unfortunately need to have elections for that club because I can't run it anymore. I'm just too busy.
Green Skipper says, do you spend your time in nature for inspiration?
No. I live in Brooklyn. The only nature I get are pigeons and rats. What I do actually do is, I was a double major in college, art history being one of my majors, and I like to base a lot of my stuff off of classical paintings or some of my favorite artists. I look at a lot of their stuff and I get a lot of inspiration from that. A lot of my scapes are the same composition as some of my favorite paintings or famous paintings. I've done everything from the Pietà to Picasso's I'm drawing a blank on the name of the painting, but which is a painting based off the Last Supper. So,
yeah. All right, well, guys, I think this about wraps it up. Literally, figuratively. Kevin will be back next week, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying for.
Next week, hopefully. Yeah, all that good stuff. Happy holidays, if I don't see or hear from you until Christmas or whatever else. Follow Kevin at Brooklyn Hardscape. Oh, he dropped the underscore.
I did.
Is that
for
because
your birthday? Yeah.
Oh, you did it for my birthday. Oh, my birthday. Get rid of the underscore.
Yeah.
Follow him on Instagram, Brooklyn Hardscape on Instagram. Where do you have Facebook?
Yep, Brooklyn Hardscape has a Facebook page.
Is there an underscore there?
There's not an underscore.
Okay.
But yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook. I know some of you like to send me pictures. It's really hard to look at the pictures on Instagram.
Really?
So yeah.
Why is they sending the ones that disappear?
No, they disappear, or they're just the resolution so small.
Okay.
So, but any questions? Brooklyn Hardscape on Facebook. Please, I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Pretty soon, Kevin will have a landing page on the website. You guys will be able to directly communicate with them.
I look forward to that. I really do, actually. I like answering emails.
I saw that hesitation there for a second, like, oh no, I'm not doing it.
I thought you were going to, I was waiting for you to give a date.
Oh. No, it's not. It's been a work in progress the last 2 months. I don't know when it's going to be done. It's almost there. Like, I got a lot done on it today, so. Alright, guys, I'll see you next time. We're going to have to end all these all at once here. Boom. Boom. And then last one later, YouTube.